In these videos, you will see Harvard vehicle operators intentionally performing bad driving behaviors. Safety was our top priority when filming, and the Harvard drivers and bicyclists who participated in these rehearsed interactions were instructed and coached prior to being filmed. This video is designed for Harvard University fleet drivers who are navigating the complex streets in Cambridge and Boston. Created in partnership with the Harvard University Transportation Safety Committee, the goal is to help you understand some real-world situations you might face and how to share the road safely. Driving around Harvard's campus can be challenging. Our streets are busy with many types of traffic sharing the road space. In particular, this training focuses on driving around bicyclists, scooter riders, pedestrians, and other vulnerable people. As a driver, you'll need to be aware of potential conflict points, understand how vulnerable users share the road, and be ready for some changing circumstances. Our number one priority is to make sure everyone gets home safely. We have a definition of vulnerable road users in Massachusetts to refer to people out on roads who are not in vehicles, meaning they don't have the protection of airbags, seatbelts, and steel. This includes people on foot, on bikes, using wheelchairs, and on other small vehicles including scooters, skateboards, and one-wheels. With more emerging technologies, we will surely be adding to this list. It's crucial to be extra careful navigating around vulnerable road users. People of all ages, backgrounds, and experience levels are out on the road riding bikes and on scooters, especially folks who are new to the area, young people, and tourists. Biking and riding scooters are becoming more popular for a number of reasons, but with more people taking to the streets, we must share the road safely. Let's cover some concepts to keep in mind when driving on our roads.
Under Massachusetts state law, people riding bicycles have the right to use the same public ways as drivers of motor vehicles. Some roads provide dedicated space for bicyclists to ride outside of traffic, and other roads require mixing of modes within travel lanes. Regardless of what type of lanes a road may have, people on bikes are allowed to ride in any part of the travel lane and can use the whole lane if necessary. When you're driving around bicyclists, remember that if you wish to pass them, make sure that you do so safely and only if you have 4 feet of passing space. Drivers are allowed to cross a double yellow line when doing so, safely and adhering to the speed limit.
People riding bikes use hand signals to indicate turning or stopping. However, people riding bikes can't always signal, as signaling requires taking a hand off the handlebar. This is why it is important to give people riding bikes extra space to accommodate sudden changes in direction. Sometimes, people on bikes display unsafe behaviors, like wearing headphones, running red lights, not following the rules of the road, or being aggressive. And many visitors to Harvard's campus are unfamiliar with the traffic flow and may not be used to the complexities of roads. You'll see a lot of questionable behavior out there, but regardless of how people are behaving, as a professional driver, it is your responsibility to remain patient and do what you can to keep everyone safe. When driving around Harvard's campus, be mindful of how obstacles like grates, metal plates, bumps, and potholes may seem small to drivers, but can cause crashes for bicyclists. If you see people biking in the middle of the lane, it may be because they are trying to avoid a dangerous situation. The safest way to drive near a person biking is to remain behind them with proper following distance. Slow down, give plenty of space, and be patient. We're all sharing the road together.
Sharing the road is a partnership. Given our professional responsibility, always be aware, on the lookout for people on foot, on scooters, and on bicycles.
Traffic is a negotiation, and most situations can be made safer by defensive driving. Expect the unexpected and over-communicate your actions. In this video, we'll go over some of the varieties of infrastructure on the streets around Harvard's campus to help you make the best decisions in the moment. While we can't possibly show you every tricky interaction, this video is a framework to help you understand the changing urban landscape.
With more people choosing to ride bikes, our cities are adjusting how street space is allocated to ensure everyone stays safe. Depending on the street and how it is being used, you may encounter a wide variety of bike lanes and marked crossings. We'll go over some examples to be aware of, but keep in mind that changes are always being made to our streets. Here are just a few of the types of bicycle lanes you may see while driving around campus. This is a bollard or flex post to separate the bike lane. In a flex post protected bike lane, the plastic post provides space and a barrier between moving traffic and the person riding in the bike lane. This is a parking protected bike lane. Be aware, your visibility may be limited and people on bicycles may be hidden behind parked cars. With curb protected bike lanes, raised lanes are separated by a curb. While people on bicycles will generally be more visible, please be aware that bikes and vehicles still have the opportunity to interact at intersections. In a contraflow or opposite way bike lane, people on bicycles may travel opposite to the flow of traffic on one-way streets. If you encounter these, stay to the right side of the road to allow for safe passing. Some intersections provide more space at the stop line for better sight lines. This is known as daylighting. Bike boxes can be found at the front of intersections and provide space for people on bikes to queue up ahead of vehicle traffic. Left turns are one of the most dangerous movements bikes make. Box turning bike lanes provide a way for people on bicycles to turn left at busy intersections. Shared bus bike lanes are popping up across Cambridge and Boston. They provide a separate space for buses to move faster in traffic, and it is common that people on bicycles are also sharing these lanes, which is usually marked by red pavement. Intersections pose some of the trickiest situations, since that's where traffic is mixing and changing directions. It's also where different modes, like walking and biking, interact with drivers as they cross lanes. When coming to intersections, be extra cautious of vulnerable users. A general rule is to always expect the unexpected. Intersections may be painted with markers indicating that bikes will be traveling through the intersection. Keep an eye out for these, especially if you're turning and crossing through these lanes. Remember, bicyclists have the right of way when they are going straight through an intersection. People riding bikes may seem unpredictable, but sometimes the bicycle infrastructure is blocked or otherwise not safe to use, so you should expect riders to be in travel lanes even if there are separated bike lanes on the roads. And if a road has construction, chances are any bike lanes will be closed and bikers will be instructed to take the full travel lane. Remember, even if there is a bike lane on the road, by Massachusetts state law, people on bikes are allowed to ride with general traffic. So be ready to share the road by providing space and being patient.
As a professional operator, you're held to a higher standard, meaning that there are higher consequences when an incident occurs. There's never any excuse for a crash. Being patient, being cautious, and being aware can help save lives. And since situations change second by second, stay alert and be aware to keep safe.
When out driving on the streets around Harvard's campus, your first priority is the safety of yourself and everyone around you, especially when operating a vehicle which can cause serious injuries or death. Remember, our main goal is that everyone gets home safely. The most common dangers for people on bikes are the right hook and the left hook when turning at intersections. Dooring, which is when someone opens a vehicle door and strikes a passerby, and drivers passing too closely on the roads. These dangers can be prevented if you remain aware and are cautious. The keys to driving safely are to provide space, be patient, and use signals well in advance before turning.
Crashes involving trucks are much more dangerous for vulnerable road users, given a truck's greater mass and larger wheels. Some of our larger fleet vehicles have significant blind spots, especially on the right side. Make sure you look, wait, and then look again before turning. Remember, your mirrors only work when properly adjusted, so check them often. Most fatal crashes and serious injuries for bicyclists in urban areas are caused by drivers turning right. Even if you look, you might not notice a person in your blind spot. Take extra caution when turning and wait until you are certain the path is clear, and then proceed slowly. If someone is riding a bike or a scooter next to you as you make a right turn or pull into a bus stop, slow down to let the person pass, instead of potentially putting them in your blind spot and cutting them off. Crashes that occur when vehicles are turning right can be deadly. People who are biking and continuing straight have the right-of-way. You are required by law to yield and wait until the bicyclist crosses through the intersection before making your turn. Consider this dangerous situation. The driver should have slowed down and waited for the bicyclist to cross through the intersection before making the turn. Left turns can also be a conflict point. When turning left, remember that oncoming traffic, including people riding bicycles, likely have the right-of-way. Always proceed slowly through intersections in case you find yourself in an unexpected situation. Many intersections also have green lights synchronized with walk signals, meaning people on foot and on bike are crossing at the same time drivers are turning. As part of your work, you may be performing tasks which require pulling your vehicle over, like picking up or unloading passengers, emptying trash barrels, or removing debris. This means you may be crossing over lanes where bicyclists are riding. When pulling over at the curb, take note of where bike lanes are. Always use your signal, hazards, and emergency lighting. Check your blind spots and mirrors before making any maneuver. Only block bike lanes if you absolutely need to in the course of doing your job. Remember, you may be forcing a person to swerve and ride into traffic. Many bicycle crashes occur when a person in a vehicle opens a door without checking for oncoming cyclists. Given this reality, bicyclists may ride closer to the middle of the lane to have more space between themselves and parked cars. Before opening your door, check your mirrors and double-check blind spots, keeping an eye out for people on bikes. Turn your chin to your shoulder and reach for the door handle with your opposite arm to ensure you don't endanger someone when exiting the vehicle. For shuttle drivers, sometimes buses and bikes travel at the same speed. When this leapfrogging happens, it's best to wait for an extra 30 seconds to allow the person riding their bike to get farther ahead. Buses can't stop on a dime. The higher the rate of speed you drive, the more difficult it is to stop in time. Driving slowly and giving plenty of space will help keep everyone safe in case of an unexpected situation. And be sure to give 4 feet of distance as you pass a person riding a bike or scooter. If you can't give them enough room, then be patient and do not pass. These tips are especially important when driving in the dark or in inclement weather like rain or snow. You may find it safer to go slower than the speed limit when visibility is limited or when the streets are crowded. Remember, the actions of the driver are the best defense to prevent crashes.
We hope this video has helped you understand some of the real dangers on our roads. We know how tough it is to be in the mix of traffic. Have patience, stay aware, and remember that we're all trying to get home safely.